Don't overthink it.
Alright.
Just do it.
Okay. Hello friends and strangers, my name's Heidi. I'm a performer, an actor, a model, professional goofball, and human cartoon character. If you didn't already know, I was overseas in the UAE in Abu Dhabi for a contract, and I want to share my experiences with you. I'm not going to get into which specific park I worked at because if you know me, you know it. But if you don't, I want to kind of keep it private. I had quite a few questions come up, so I'm going to answer some of them. Let's get into it. A lot of people asked me what is the biggest difference from living here in the United States versus over there. I'd like to take this two ways. So biggest personal difference or the biggest cultural difference. The biggest personal difference was that I had to make my own schedule when I worked. I did not have a contract while I was living in Orlando. I did not perform full time. Therefore, I was in charge of my own schedule. I always had to hustle, always had to make sure I was making money. So that being said, this was my first contract ever, and it happened to be overseas in the UAE. The biggest cultural difference was that
a lot of things.
I think at the end of the day, it's all about respect.
R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means to me.
As an expat, I'm not going to dress scandalously in a country that frowns upon that, because I am already the minority. I don't want any more attention on me than it already is because it's pressure. The place that we lived, it was very local. When I say local, I mean people that have the customs of the religion and follow the religion there. They tend to be kind of strict, but it's also very westernized over there. Culturally speaking, I didn't have to follow their religion. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. I didn't have to wear a headscarf, didn't have to do any of that. Very, very westernized, which was really cool because there's a lot of cool things to see. Their tourism industry there is booming. But at the end of the day, it's all about respect. I'm not going to go and show my midriff and wear booty shorts to the corner store. It ain't happening because I don't want all that on me. A typical day in the life. The transportation was provided for us, so I hopped on the bus, got to work, grabbed my costume, put my makeup on, did a few shows, had some lunch. Lunch is provided for us and dinner if we so choose, or breakfast as well. And then continue on with my day. Usually 6 sets a day. Rarely was it 5, but I really enjoyed it. I played 2 face characters and I did a stage show where I played myself. So it was pretty cool to be myself on a stage. And then at the end of the day, we'd either go to the mall next door because it has everything. The malls over there have grocery stores, they have movie theaters, they have tons of food, they have everything that you need at a mall. For me, the cost of living was typically low because they provided food, they provided transportation to and from work, to and from the mall, so everything I needed was in my little bubble, and I didn't have to spend money if I didn't want to. I definitely spent money. Anyway, I really, really did like my job. And then the pandemic happened. I went out that window. So unfortunately my contract was cut short, but there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't enjoy working for that theme park that I worked for. All right, no more work stuff. I'm gonna talk to you about the coolest things that I saw while I was there. Number 1, the Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. It stands at feet, and it's super cool. It's super cool to look up at, because then it's one of those things where when you look at something and you're like, wow, I feel very small. I'm a puny human on this earth. It was like that, but way cool. The beaches there, amazing. I went to this beach and resort called Zayn Arai Island. Really recommend it if you're visiting Abu Dhabi in the UAE area. Super tight, really clear water. I recommend getting a brunch. Just splurge on that brunch and you get full day access to the beach, to the 2 pools that they have. They have bar. It's poppin'. I really recommend it. It's the shit. And I was lucky enough to spend my birthday in Dubai, and we stayed on the Palm Jumeirah on a little resort. It has a bunch of hotels and things to do on there. Super cool to visit. Also in Dubai is a miracle garden, and that is open seasonally only when it's not too hot, as to burn and scorch and melt your skin because it does get very hot in the desert. Now, I'm from Florida and I know what hot is, but that is another level.
Another level.
So we work 6 days a week and we get 1 day off a week, which means you can either spend that day sleeping or doing something pretty cool. My only regret is not spending those days doing something pretty cool. But me and my friends on our mutual day off all went to the desert in Abu Dhabi and we did dune bashing. So like you go in a Jeep and they like go up the dunes and come down. It's really fun. It feels like a roller coaster. And then by sundown, you're at this like little camp and they have a show and they have food for you. The food was so good. Arabic meat is so tender and it's like it's so good. They also have this type of rice. It's a little bit longer and it's really tasty as well. Really like Arabic meat. It's so tasty. The UAE really knows what they're doing when it comes to non-alcoholic drinks because the majority of them do not drink. But expats obviously can and tourists can. But I chose not to drink as much while I was overseas just because it made me feel sick, giving the tummies a rumbling. So most of the time I would order mocktails and they're so delicious. They are iced or they're blended and it tastes so good. Most of the time it's just like tropical flavors, but they really know what they're doing. It tastes amazing. Kind of the same thing goes on with desserts over there. They love their sweets. There are shops dedicated to sweets and chocolates. You go into an Arabic bakery, you're in the right place. Get a coffee, get a pastry, some good shit. Now that I'm back home during the pandemic, it's bittersweet. On one hand, I'm really happy to be home, but I'm not working. On the other hand, if I would have stayed, I would have kept working in my field. You win some, you lose some. I decided to come home because it was my time, but that is not to say that I didn't really enjoy my time over there. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe, do that, do the wherever. Thanks for listening and watching. This is my first time, so please be nice and goodbye.